Hi everybody, Cris Sgrott with Organizing Maniacs here, and I am super excited about this month's book club. We're talking about mindset, and mindset is one of those things that it can go either way, right? So I like to start off by saying that Organizing Maniacs is a professional organizing company in the Washington, D.C. metro area, and we specialize in working with clients with brain-based conditions. So the majority of our clients have ADD, ADHD, OCD, and hoarding tendencies. And you can never talk about mindset without first talking about depression, which is a brain wiring, and it's not. People are not depressed because they want to, or that's not something they can just get over it. So as we talk about this book, I want you to keep that in mind, that in order to work on one's mindset, if you're impacted with depression, you may need to work on that first, and then you may free up, brain wiring, if there is such a thing, to work on your mindset. So this book basically has two very dominant concepts. One is that there are two types of mindset out in the world. One of them is fixed. And in fixed mindset, we believed that our qualities are carved in stone. So we believe that we're born with certain innate talents and abilities or intelligence, and that cannot be changed. And I meet a lot of people in organizing that do say things like, I'm never going to be organized. There aren't enough books or tools or techniques or things that you can teach me that will ever change that. And I tend to believe that those are like fixed mindset people. However, they're calling us because they believe that maybe there's hope, right? So there's like a fine line over there. And then the second group are the people with growth mindset. And in the growth mindset belief, we believe that the hand that we're dealt are just a starting point. So a starting point for development. So in growth mindset, it's based on belief that our basic qualities can be cultivated through effort. So everyone can grow through application and experience. And clearly, we get a lot of people like that trying to get organized, and they believe that, I can learn something, you can teach me something, with enough time and effort, I can be more organized. And I've been very lucky to have a very loyal client base over the last 10 years since I've been running Organizing Maniacs. And I've seen people that were very persistent in kind of having a growth mindset and believing that with enough time and enough tools and enough training that they could be more organized. And there's nothing more exciting for us when we go meet somebody and they have made substantial effort at keeping the systems that we have given them. It's never perfect, right? Because I always say, we all would love to live out of the Pottery Barn catalog, and I'm a huge fan of the Pottery Barn, but there's nobody that lives there, and to expect that level of organization is unrealistic. So we always believe that whatever systems we give people, that they're going to make adjustments, they'll try to make it better, they'll make it their own, they will change little things that don't work for them, and they will make it so it fits their lifestyle. However, the basic foundation of that system normally stays, and when people really follow the systems that we have given them, in whatever way it really works for them, right, they make a little bit of progress. And I think when you're trying to be more organized, little progress is exponentially important, because even though you think like, this is not really making a difference, just a tiny little bit of change and just a tiny little bit of progress makes a huge difference. And as you pile it up over the over days and the months and the years, and like I said, over the 10 years that I have worked with some people, it's incredibly amazing to me to think back to when they first called and the situations that they were living under, or the level of stress that they had because they were so disorganized. and the progress that they have made over the years, it is so astounding to me how little progress makes such a huge difference. So I already talked about depression. That was a big thing in the book, where he talked about, understanding brain wiring is very important when you're talking about mindset. So if you are depressed, it's hard to believe that you can just wake up and have a better mindset about what's going on, right? So you probably want to deal with that first by consulting with a psychologist and a psychiatrist and figuring out how you can deal with your depression before you can start working on your mindset. But may be able to, I believe that one can be worked after the other, but you definitely have to figure out how to deal with the depression first. The New York Times also wrote an article that points out that we have really absorbed this whole idea of failure into becoming our identity. And we used to say, failure was an action. Like, I failed at, making popcorn because I burn it all the time. And instead of, we started saying, I am a failure because I can't make popcorn. And that's like starting to ingrain in our brains. And I think that is something we should be very cautious about. So once again, I hear people say things like I am disorganized and there is no hope, instead of my space is disorganized and there is hope, right? And I think not identifying ourselves with our clutter or with our, or with our procrastination, with our poor time management, or whatever it is that we're associating ourselves with, it's very important to separate the two. Like, one is an action and one is our identity, and we do not want to be identified as those things. So I do see quite a bit of that, and he points that out in the book, that people with fixed mindset are also more likely to identify with with that part of their lives. There is a huge section of the book on parenting and what's happening to the everyone gets a trophy philosophy. I don't have kids, so I'm going to refrain from judging on what's happening out in the in the world. But there is definitely some impact that has on mindset and brain wiring. And he talks about how we should not praise children for their intelligence, but we should praise children for their effort. And I think, once again, in organizing, we should never say, like, I'm not smart enough to be organized, or I'm not smart enough to manage my time well, or I'm not smart enough to create a filing system, right? It has nothing to do with you. It has to do with a skill that you can learn. So the effort of making a new filing system, or learning how to use a planner, or learning how to manage your time better, it's always better to dissociate yourselves with that. And that way, when you're, let's say you have a problem with managing your paperwork and now you have a better filing system, well, you don't have to go back into the infinite amount of time in the past to be a better person with your paperwork. You can just start filing it today, and every day you'll be making better effort, and that therefore your space is going to look better, you're going to feel better. So try not to think of yourself as the thing, right? Praise yourself for the efforts you're making. I run a couple of organizing groups for some of my classes. Like, I do 2 classes, one on paper management and one on time management, and I run a couple of groups in those classes. And I hear people say a lot, like, I am disorganized, or I'm never going to be organized. And I'm really trying to encourage people to just really dissociate themselves with those thoughts that, I can never be organized, because that's not true. And I'll give you a perfect example. And I like to believe myself to be a growth mindset person. However, for years, I never cooked. And I have true appreciation for food, and I love to eat, and I always say I love anything that I don't have to make myself to eat. However, lately I have had some life transitions that has put me back in the kitchen cooking for myself. And over the last few months, I have, with the help of one of the maniacs, I have learned to cook again and experiment with food and learn things that I just haven't used in a real long time. And it's really funny because the last time I was cooking, like all of these things came up about like what to do with white beans. And I was able to answer questions that the maniac that was working with me was like, wow, I'm surprised that you know that. And I started thinking like, well, there was a time in my life when, you know, maybe I cooked for myself, and there was a time when I liked to cook, and I just haven't exercised that muscle in so long that I started thinking of myself as a person that was a bad cook. And that's not really the truth, right? Because it was just a muscle I haven't used before, and now all of a sudden I enjoy cooking and I love cooking, and I'm developing this like love for like creating amazing recipes and being healthy and looking at food in a way that I hadn't looked before. So even though I believe to be of a growth mindset, I still had a fixed mindset about my cooking. And so now I am working on that. So if you have any really fun recipes on your Instapot, I'm kind of addicted to mine, and I would love to hear your recipes. But anyways, back to the book club. In the book, he also talks about you know, how there's plenty of opportunities for us to work on our mindset. There are lots of ways to really be thoughtful about the way we're thinking, the way we're saying the words aloud. It goes a lot with mindfulness. You know, we wake up every day. Maybe I have really worked on that a lot lately, just to waking up every day and just being grateful for the day and anticipating all of the things that are going to be amazing in my day, and thinking about all of the things that I'm grateful for, or all of the clients that I'm going to see, and the lives that I get to, you know, the lives I get to impact, and the people I get to hang out with, and my employees, and all of the things that come into my life on a daily basis. They're really positive and that bring me joy, right? So I'm just trying to think about those things every day in a really positive way, which then makes me feel like, okay, there are lots of possibility and the world is not a terrible place. So, however, I want to wrap up this book club by saying that there's plenty of people out there that I meet every single day that don't think there's anything wrong with them, or that they don't want to change, or that they're fine the way they are, or, you know, that their lives are just perfect and there's nothing wrong with their mindset, right? And I think that is perfectly fine. I'm not going around the world trying to change people's mindset about their organizing or about their time management or about anything. And neither should you, right? Just because we believe that we are in a growth mindset and that we can learn more, that we can be better people, that we can make improvements, it doesn't mean that there's other people out there that feel the same way that we do. And it doesn't mean that everybody will feel the way that we do. However, when we do encounter those people that are totally excited about changing and growing and becoming better, we totally love to be with them, right? So on that note, like if you're one of those people that are like, I'm totally fine with my clutter, I don't want to be more organized, I don't want to manage my time better, there's nothing wrong with my, you know, with the way I'm managing my paperwork, I hope you're having a good life. But so if you need any help and we can support you, you can find us at organizingmaniacs.com. Once again, I don't have my mindset report because I'm working on this kind of late this month. And but if you like, we create a very awesome monthly report that goes with the book club, and we send that to you in your inbox. So if you want, you can just, if you want to be our friend, you can sign up and you can get it once a month. We do that. We do a book summary, and then we do a video. Anyway, I loved hanging out with you this month. Today is a very cold, snowing day in Washington, D.C., and we hope very much that this is the last of winter and that spring will finally be here, because I'm starting to feel like in a fixed mindset that the weather is never going to warm up. But anyway, I always enjoy hanging out with you, and I appreciate your time, and I hope you stay organized and productive, and now that you have a better mindset about your day. I will see you soon. Bye.